I'm going to teach you to bring your lawn from this to this. Hello everyone and welcome. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you're having a great day. It has been a very hot and dry summer across most of America and the northern hemisphere. No exception here, but it has been in the 80s. I haven't watered all week long, but I'm going to show you some tips and tricks today how to make your lawn look awesome and green like this. So be sure to subscribe and we'll get right into it. So as you can see, my lawn is probably the greenest in the neighborhood right now. And that does take a little bit of work, but I'm going to show you some of my tips and tricks that you can take back with you and implement into your own lawn. Now, I still have a few little stress spots that are a bit dry, and so I'm not immune to the drought and heat from the summer, as a lot of you have been experiencing this year. So I've got these MP Rotator by Hunter Industries, these sprinklers that I have set up along the fence here. I've got 3 of them and they spray all the way to the edge there. There's a few things you can do besides watering though. You want to get a soil test, and I'm gonna guess that you probably have a lack of potassium in your soil. So if you remember my soil test from earlier in the year, I needed to apply a 0060 or something. Basically that third number that you see on that bag of fertilizer, that's going to help you with summer stress. So if you're going to look for a new fertilizer, get something that's low nitrogen, that's the first number, and you want high potassium, that's the third number. And that's really going to help a lot with summer stress. Another big factor is your mowing height. Just bump up your mower a little bit more. That goes a long way. As you can see here, I kind of scalped this area because I have an indentation there that the mower sometimes gets caught on. That right here is mowed probably less than a ½ inch. It's a little bit baked. But this little divot here is probably about almost 3 inches high, and you can see the color difference there. Now I started off mowing in the springtime at a ½ inch. I bumped it up to 1 inch. Right now I'm at 1¼ inches. Don't do what I'm doing. Do as I say, not as I do. Unless you are willing to put in the time and effort to really get a low-cut lawn looking good. It takes twice as much effort in order to keep it low like this. I love the look of it, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot of work. So if you're not willing to put in the time and you're not as obsessed as I am, raise that mower up to about 4 inches. In the summertime, you want to keep the grass shaded a lot more. So as you can see, even under this tree, the grass growing around here is much more green than right along the road. So if you have concrete or anything like that, it's going to be a lot more heat stressed right along the edges here. So you're going to want to get more water along that edge. And now for the #1 reason why my lawn is so much more green. Even though I am the only person who's watering in town, I water deep and infrequently. And what that means is you're not going to want to run your sprinklers for 10 to 15 minutes each zone and just call it a day. No. Every time you water, you want to get it watered deep. And what you want to do to figure that out is how much water these sprinklers are actually putting out. And to do that, you're going to want to do what's called the tuna can test. You can look that up on YouTube. A lot of other lawn care tubers have done that before. But you're basically taking a shallow dish and you're setting out containers every 3 to 5 feet from the head, then another one at 10 feet, 20 feet, and so on. And you're going to check to see how much water these put out after say 20 or 30 minutes each zone. So what I like to do, I've got low pressure, I'll run it for 30 minutes, I'll check how much water, and then I bump it up from there. So let's say I put down 1/4 inch of water in 30 minutes. We want to water a ½ inch every time. So what I will do is I will run the sprinklers for 1 hour to get that ½ inch in this area. Because these sprinklers, I have 5 of them on one zone and I have low pressure, I actually run this zone for 90 minutes at a time. So I see the neighbors, they might water their lawn for 15 or 20 minutes and then move the sprinkler over. You're not getting a good deep soaking, you're just wetting the leaf surface. It's not going to do you any good. That's just going to burn off in the sun right away. So you want to try to water early morning before the sun is going to burn off all the water. You're going to lose a lot of water through evaporation, so do it in the morning before the sun is at its highest point. Water deep and infrequently. I cannot stress that enough. Make sure you know how much water these are putting out. So you want to test that theory. Run your sprinklers for 30 minutes or so at a time. So I'll set my timer here, whether you have a hose timer or an individual sprinkler all by itself. get out some containers, measure how much water you're putting out, and then adjust it from there. 1/2 inch. That's what you want to shoot for. You might have to do that every 2 to 3 times a week, depending on how hot the area is by you. It's been pretty mild this week in the 80s, so I haven't had to water too much. In fact, as I said, it was 5 days ago I watered last, and I'm still doing pretty good. If it was in the upper 90s, I would probably be watering every 2 days just to keep it under control. So keep that in mind. You do not have to water every single day necessarily. You just have to water the proper amount. That is key. And as I said, get a soil test. Make sure you get a stress blend of fertilizer that has low nitrogen, slow release. You don't want quick release. That will burn the leaf surface. Get a low, slow nitrogen and high potassium. That is probably the best thing you can do for your lawn. Anyway, I have talked enough on this video now. I just wanted to give you a few quick pointers for summertime stress, how to keep your lawn looking good. I do have a couple of dry spots. That's not out of the ordinary because I know my sprinklers can't reach everywhere with my DIY redneck irrigation system. So, you know, like right in here in the middle, I've got some dry spots. So what I'll do is I'll just water those by hand or move my sprinkler by itself and move it manually, water that area for a little bit. I've got some more videos coming up about applying some 0050. So that third number I was talking about on the fertilizer bag, I've got some dedicated stuff that's going to help with summer stress. So be sure to subscribe if you want to see that video and see what product I'm using. If you guys got any questions, leave them in a comment below. I like to try to respond to everything. Till next time, guys, thanks for watching.